Hey, Brian.
Hey, good afternoon.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, I can. Hi, Britt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. Coming in clearly. I'm going to get started. We don't have a lot of folks in attendance today, but let's get rolling here. So yeah, welcome to our August meeting for the Ogden Avenue, North Lawndale, and West Southwest corridor. And since here's our agenda for the day, I think since we've got pretty light attendance, that we all know each other here, it's fair to say. So I think we can skip the introductions side of things. On today's agenda, we're going to review the Ogden Avenue and West Southwest RFP selection. As probably all or most of you know, that we announced the selected project a week ago at a event that hosted by the mayor, Commissioner Cox from Department of Planning and Development. And it was not only just the announcement of the North Lawndale project, but also Bronzeville, South Chicago, and Back of the Yards, New City. So it was an announcement of projects in several communities on the south and west sides. So I'm going to jump into this agenda item, and I'll just be offering today like a little bit of background on the selection process and the selected project, how we came to that conclusion, or that selection, I should say, and what the next steps are in this process. And, if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in at any time and, ask a question or make a comment. So just to review, I wanted to revisit our process for how we came to the selected project. So, this goes back quite a ways to, last fall when we were doing the visioning workshop around, I should say before releasing the RFP, and, the direction that we put into the RFP document. And then, after the proposals were submitted on the March 30th deadline, we did the developer presentations. We shared summary materials about all the projects to allow folks in the community to make informed responses on the community scorecards. We then used the information from the community scorecards, or the survey, to share with the community evaluators to inform the decision that was ultimately made and to help come to consensus. And the community evaluation committee included 3 members from the community who, if you probably recall, they were nominated in our roundtable meeting. We used a random lottery to select the names of the folks who would ultimately end up on the selection committee. So those turned out to be Jesse Green and April Campbell and Rochelle Jackson. So all members of this committee that have been in attendance at a number of meetings and have been a part of the process since it began. So we think that was excellent addition to our evaluation process here. And that group, along with members from city staff, we held 2 meetings where we had evaluation forums for every single member of the committee. So they scored all the projects on the criteria that were set up, in advance of the RFP release. And, so those scores basically provided, the guidance on the project that was selected, but there was also a lot of discussion and conversation just to, make sure that we didn't miss anything in our scoring leading up to those meetings. And so they were 2 extensive meetings, a lot of discussion, a lot of deliberation, because this was obviously a big decision to make. So we think I personally, I was a part of them and think that we had some excellent dialogue, and I'm really grateful to all the contributions that we had, excuse me, particularly from our community evaluators. So, as you all are probably familiar already, the project that we selected was the Lawndale Redefined proposal. So this is from a development team of GRE Ventures, Imagine Development Group, and 548. So this, if you recall from the presentations and other meetings that we've had, it's a multi-building proposal that includes a mixed-use multi-family building kind of as the main anchor of it. That's got 60 rental units in it that are a mix of market rate and affordable, predominantly affordable. But it also includes, other components like a restaurant and small grocery space, the cube, that glass box there that will be a arts and technology center for the community. This is a team that had, I should also say it included a public plaza out in the front of it with, some interactive features, as well as a component that celebrates North Lawndale's history. And this is a team that had very strong MBE representation on it, and a development team that also had past experience working in North Lawndale and ties to the community. So I don't need to go into all the details here, but it's a proposed budget of $31.5 million. It's anticipated to generate about 90 to 120 temporary construction jobs and roughly 20 permanent jobs. And there will be a request for city incentives to help develop the project. A mix of low-income housing tax credits and neighborhood opportunity fund and tax increment financing. And then just here providing a little bit more of the detail on the proposed funding for the project here and the budget on it. And then also, you can see the image here that kind of provides a better understanding of how the proposal occupies the site, the different components of it. But I don't think we need to dwell too long on this because we've all, at this point, very familiar with the all the proposed projects. And, should also mention that, we got 6 really strong proposals for this site, and really appreciate the time and effort that went into, submitting these proposals, and just the strong response that we got from the community. I think we're all just, really impressed and grateful for the interest from North Lawndale and all the development teams that submitted for the project. Or I should say the RFP. So for our next steps, the first will be an event to meet the developers. This is going to be held on Saturday, September 18th from 1 to 4 p.m. And this will actually be an in-person opportunity. It'll be outdoors. It'll actually be held on the RFP development site. I believe that they're going to set up a tent so, it can be a rain or shine kind of thing. And the goal of this meeting is to essentially, like the title suggests, introduce the developers to the community and allow them an opportunity to talk about their project and, how it can be a benefit and, catalytic development for the community, and then also get feedback from the community on the project and provide them some initial guidance on, how it can best fit in on the Ogden corridor, how it can be, an amenity for North Lawndale and North Lawndale residents. And then we're also going to hold a virtual event that's going to be held on Monday, September 27th. So that will be the date of our August roundtable. So we're going to turn that, kind of open it up to the community and allow them to attend virtually like we do here, and talk a little bit about the event that's being held on the 18th and what we heard, but then also, an additional opportunity for folks who might not have been able to come to the in-person event on the 18th to, provide additional feedback. And then, we'll go into some more detail on the next steps for how this project's going to be, planned and eventually developed. So, again, as we've gone over in this meeting several times in the past, the RFP site, the one over here between Trumbull and Hillman, it's not the only potential opportunity site that exists on the Ogden corridor. As we're all familiar, there's a lot of vacant land. There's a lot of potential for new development on the corridor, and to bring some of that vacant land back into a productive community uses for housing, commercial uses, employment. So we have been talking about this for a while, and we've been thinking about the opportunities that exist here. So if you listened in, or you're able to actually attend the announcement event, we did announce that DPD is essentially going to continue to work with a couple of the other development teams that submitted for the RFP. The first of which being the Tapestry project, which was a very close runner-up to the project that was selected in the evaluation committee. Thought that there was really a lot of strength to this proposal, a lot of clear community benefits, particularly a proposal that had a lot of strong representation from the North Lawndale community. And, we essentially just saw the merits in this and want to, continue to work with that team to see what kind of, assistance we can leverage, whether that's in terms of, finding a potential development site or locating, other financial assistance options to try to, make this proposal become a reality. Because, as Commissioner Cox said, we just, I think the term was embarrassment of riches for North Lawndale, and wanting to, not just pick one and have, the others fall by the wayside. So, this, again, being kind of like another strong scoring project. We want to continue to work with that team of Lawndale Christian Development Corporation and the NHP Foundation to see if this can, find a different home on the corridor, among the several opportunity sites that exist out there. And again, just to kind of recap this project, I had similar kind of summary. This was, another mixed use residential and commercial project that also had a strong, community oriented element to it, with the Lawndale Food Hall, the community co-working space, as well as just some general retail space. And again, public outdoor component to it with a plaza, cafe seating. And then this project included 67 affordable residential units. Another project that we also announced DPD is going to continue to work with to try to facilitate its development is the hotel proposal. Again, this was a proposal for a roughly 200-room hotel that was made up of a team of a primary developer of Proxima Management that's done hotels, in other parts of the country, has worked in, other locations in the Midwest. And the reason why this project was selected as one that we would like to continue to work with and one that we'd like to try to implement is because of its financial viability. So there's a lot of equity behind this project, and the city seeing that there was very little to no incentives requested for this, we think that again, we can leverage the available land resources that are on the corridor to try to bring this project to fruition. And so I guess I'd like to stop there and really have a good like discussion slide here, but I'll take a step back and just stop to see if anybody has any questions, comments, just, discussion around this process. If, you think it could have been better in some ways, or if there were things that you think went well about it that you'd like to see the city continue to do in the future.
Excuse me, Brian. I'm sorry. Will you all be able to send out copies of the community feedback survey analysis that was conducted? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think at this point, with the selection being made and the process being pretty clearly laid out, that we're not going to be sharing all of the information of the community survey. I think that it's our priority right now to move ahead with the, as I mentioned, the three projects that we identified as the selected project, and others that we're going to continue to partner with, and just focus on the next steps here. So yeah, I know that some folks were interested in that, and I apologize for not being able to honor that request, but it's something that a decision that we've made across the other projects as well. Anybody else? Thoughts, critiques?
Hey, Brian, this is Brenda Palms Barber. I just wanted to say that I thought that this was such a thoughtful and just process. And it was exciting to see the interest that developers have in our community here in North Lawndale. It was just that was encouraging, the fact that people could hop online and watch and listen, ask questions and vote. It's hard to get everything right the first go, but I think this was fairly good, really a strong process. And there's always opportunity for improvement, but I think that we really appreciate the effort to make it a transparent and fair and just process. So I wanted just to give you and those that are working with you just an expression of my appreciation. Certainly, I think it was a great process, and I am a little disappointed that the one I was on didn't go the long run, but I'm happy to see that it did place, and that those job opportunities will still be available. It's a win. This entire process is a win for North Lawndale. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much, Brenda. And yeah, I would completely agree. Between this project and the Roosevelt Costner project, there's been a lot of focus on North Lawndale. Maybe in a way that hasn't happened in a while, and of really, I don't know. I don't want to say like putting it on let's say showcasing it for developers who in the past may not have looked not just to North Lawndale, but to this part of the city in general as an opportunity for development and investment. And I think it goes back to the greater priorities and goals of Invest Southwest. And what we were hoping to do was to attract that positive attention. And I want to acknowledge the fact too that we, as you mentioned, Brenda, the process is something that's constantly evolving. And as we have done this, we've been learning. There's definitely been some things that we had to see how the process played out for us to, figure out whether or not it was the right approach. And I'm being pretty candid here that, it's something that we're trying to continue to learn from, and that in future iterations of this, we may not, take the same approach that we did this time. Maybe something that's to your point, about, the project that you're a part of, not being selected, is try to find something that is a little, more inclusive, or, I don't want to say like less competitive, but, just something. So to go back to the fact that, we selected the one project, and then we also kind of, tabbed these other two. It's tough setting up a process like this where you may get a number of strong proposals that you think have merit and that could be implemented in a community, and then, only picking the one. So that's, I think something that we realized during this process was that, like, hey, there are other opportunity sites on this corridor. There are excellent proposals here. So why not try to, help out some of these others, and like I said too, for various reasons, not just the fact that, like, oh, it was the scoring. It was, there was a project here that had strong financial feasibility. So it's, if the city can help find a location on the corridor and they have the funding that's already in place, well, we want to help facilitate that and be a good partner here. So yeah, as the Invest Southwest, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary in October. And as it continues to roll out, as we continue to, try to drive new development in communities on the south and west sides, we're going to, ideally, like, learn from the process as it's played out so far, and hopefully do a better job. So thank you for the comment. Anyone else? I'm going to move ahead to our next agenda item here. We held a couple of weeks ago, we held a workshop for the Altenheim Line planning study. So as you may recall, this is a study that's underway right now that DPD is doing in collaboration with CDOT and the Department of Housing, and as well as a consultant team that's leading the project in partnership with us. So to take a look at the elevated rail line that is on the north end of the community, and also touches Garfield Park in the not just the 24th, but also the 28th ward. So we're looking at roughly a 2-mile stretch of that elevated rail line that's owned by CSX, to see what its future potential could be as a recreational and a community amenity, and also something that has the potential to encourage economic development in North Lawndale. So I was really pleased with the turnout we had. We did do this as an in-person workshop, and really adhered to COVID safety protocols, and was really impressed and very grateful to everybody who attended for being masked and for being responsible. So all in all, it was a really, really positive event. We got a lot of great feedback. Alderman Scott was there, our partner in this. He spoke to the audience there. I had a chance to say a few words myself. We actually got some good press from Block Club. They published a article that was in advance of the meeting, getting the word out, and then they also did a follow-up piece, and actually quoted the alderman, quoted myself, and some other folks who attended the meeting, which I thought was great, because they included some quotes from Lawndale residents and their thoughts on this opportunity. So as you can see in the photos here, there's Rochelle. Rochelle was there and was a part of it, as well as a lot of other folks from the community that are familiar faces, and some others that were not so much, that I had a chance to meet. And it was really great to be able to have one-on-one conversations in person, as opposed to on Zoom for a change. So I'm just going to walk through quickly, some of these the boards that we had up. It was organized, as you can see in the lower right here. We had stations that were staffed by DPD folks and members of the consultant team as well, to provide information, but then also gather feedback. And this was, since we're early on in the process, it was a pretty big picture kind of engagement process of, what can this opportunity mean for the community? What's your vision for it? What kinds of, okay, I'll just start to get into slides here. So this shows you kind of like summary overview slide that lays out the timeline for completing the planning study and what the role of that planning study is and what we're hoping to accomplish. So to provide folks with background on what we're trying to do. And then also, referencing the quality of life plan and how this fits into the priorities of the, that strong community plan that is, serves as kind of a guidepost for so much, development activity in North Lawndale. We also looked at, got feedback on the potential for future residential development in the community. So, this is like one of several aspects of the project that we were looking at, because as you can see at the bottom, well, actually, I'm sorry, that's not the vacant property map, but there's a lot of vacant land in proximity to the line, and a lot of it's in the residential neighborhoods. So, in the long term, looking at the potential of this project to, drive future development in the neighborhood, what kind of residential development would be preferred by community members? Oops. And then in the same vein, what kind of commercial development would be ideal, because this is, close to the Roosevelt Road corridor. There's a lot of, existing commercial development that has potential, with some vacant properties and then also some vacant land. So you could also see commercial development in proximity to the line. And then, as I mentioned previously, what is the vision for all of that vacant land that's close to the line here? And you can see on the map here, a lot of the vacant land that's nearby is owned by the city. There's also a significant amount that's owned by the Cook County Land Bank as well. So, anti-displacement is a major part of the scope of work for this project, and making sure that, when we're looking at the types of new development that could come online, and down the road, as a kind of following the implementation of a elevated trail here, well, how can the city, what kind of policies and what kind of, approaches to development can, preserve affordability in this area? And, the fact that the city owns a lot of that land, it gives us leverage, it gives us influence on being able to pursue those strategies. So these are some photos here, I'm not going to go through and read all the sticky notes that were up there, but I just wanted to show, how great a feedback that we got. And, we got photos, and we documented all of the comments that were made from, stakeholders and members of the community. And those are going to, inform and influence the planning document that we release at the end of this process. So like on the left, you can see we were asking questions about just kind of like big picture vision for the project. In the middle, it's the question about what kind of economic development can be influenced by this. And then on the right, what sort of recreational opportunities would be good on a trail and park system like this. So a lot of great comments, and we're glad to see that folks are really interacting with the questions that we put up. And then these are some of the actual boards that were the slides that I showed earlier. So, we had folks say like, what is your preferred type of residential development? And, you can see like a lot of people, favor the types of, like 2 flats and, kind of maybe like 6-unit apartment buildings that are, common in the neighborhood already. And then people had a chance to weigh in on like the type of commercial development that they'd like to see in the community, and make comments about, what types of commercial amenities would be like best suited for North Lawndale. Something else we've talked about in meetings here a lot in the past. And then on the right side, it's opportunities for vacant land and how that could be developed to best benefit North Lawndale residents. So yeah, sorry, that's my last slide on this. So any questions about where we're at with this project or the public workshop?
I'd just like to say that, thank you, Brian, for that overview for the Altenheim line. This has been a very thoughtful, inclusive process. NLCCC is the engagement partner with this project, working with SOM and the team. This is a very thought-provoking process, engaged with the community, led by the community. And we also, as it relates to the anti-displacement piece, had our team go out and meet with leaders across the community, like Brenda Palms, Deborah Wesley. There were some other folks that they interviewed as well, to try to come up with some strategies ahead of time to ensure that there are minimum to no displacements as a result of this project. That is our priority at NLCCC, and I know that that is the city's priority as well. As Brian indicated, there are about several city-owned parcels of land. Some of those are a part. I know some of you guys probably thought about the 1,000 homes that are atop of all of our heads. Well, we're working with Richard Townsend. He's a part of the team as well, to ensure that there is no displacement of any of the homes that he's planning for on those sites. So we're being as inclusive and thoughtful as we possibly can. That user group session is made up of, and we try to get a diverse group of folks, of homeowners, residents, business owners, clergy, as well as government officials. And so we tried to ensure that we were as inclusive as we possibly could throughout this process. We recognize that this is a project, but it doesn't stand in isolation or alone by itself. And so we're looking at all of the Invest Southwest corridors and how those will inform this process in this project as well. So as we continue to go through this process, I will continue to reach out and ask for your engagement on each of these. And thank you thus far for what you've contributed.
Great, yeah, thanks a lot, Jesse, for filling in the detail on that. And yeah, and I apologize too. You were also there, and I made some comments and helped us kick this off too. So sorry for not giving you props there.
Oh, no problem.
But yeah, I know you're definitely a big help to have at that meeting. And then yeah, a big part of our engagement strategy here, and making sure that the community is influencing this project in a way that goes beyond folks showing up to a meeting or speaking in a Zoom meeting. So yeah, I can say, to provide a little bit more detail on the anti-displacement approach to the project, that having DOH on board, and unfortunately they're not a part of this meeting, but they've got staff assigned to this project, and they're looking at similar situations in other communities on the south and west sides. Like, obviously the 606 is already built, and they're, I don't want to say that ship has sailed, but like there are opportunities here being so far ahead. There's no money that's set aside at this point to actually build this. It's this is a first step in a longer process that could take like 10 years or so of like doing all the planning and engineering, and then securing funding to actually build it, working with the railroad to secure the land. So this is a long process, and I think it's really important to point out that like we're trying to get out ahead of these issues as early as possible, and that there are other examples now in the city. Like DOH is doing a lot of work in Little Village around the Paseo trail that's been proposed, and that there's been some progress on. I don't think that there's a construction or completion date on that yet, but DOH is heavily engaged in the Little Village community, where there's also a lot of displacement concerns. So they've got should say like a template to approach this. And then, like you said, Jesse, we're also looking at existing programs that are out there and initiatives like 1,000 homes that can be woven in to some of those broader housing programs and policies. to preserve affordability. So definitely a big focus of what we're trying to do here. Anybody else? Any questions, thoughts? All right, well, that's all I've got today. Let's see, we're at 2:40 here. So if there are any other folks, and also too, since we're at the end of that item, I was not able to attend, unfortunately, because I had projects on Plan Commission, but definitely want to acknowledge Brenda for the opening of the new North Lawndale Employment Network Center on over on Roosevelt there. And yeah, hopefully others who are part of the meeting here, part of the community, were able to get out there and enjoy that. So next time I'm out in the neighborhood, you know, I'll be sure to come and check it out. So yeah, Brenda, why don't you give us a little, I don't know. Get up
No,
and
thank you,
pat
Brian.
yourself on the back.
No, no. I've shared with those who are, Jesse and Deborah and several others that, I'm really grateful for the support of the community and really for the support of the city, which is our single largest investor in this building at 2.5 million through the NOF grant. And it's just a beautiful place. This morning, I received a beautiful picture of someone who was had their computer, their laptop set up. They had a cup of coffee and their books for meditation. And they said, I'm at the Be Love Cafe doing my morning meditation. And it just really touched my heart because this is a place where people can come and be. Especially be who they are. But in addition to the local jobs that we're creating and pathways to middle wage employment opportunities. So Brian, thanks for the opportunity. It was just, can't wait to have you come by and grab a cup of coffee and celebrate. This is just the beginning of all the amazing work that's happening in North Lawndale. Really proud of of our vision and what we're making happen. And a proud member of NLCCC too, by the way. Thank you for mentioning that, Jesse. All right. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Hello, Brian.
Yeah.
This
Hey,
is Rodney. I've been in the car long, so I just got to my destination so I can safely pull over. I just want to also echo the comments of my comrades in terms of the attention that's being drawn to North Lawndale and how proud we are of the projects that are being bid on and posted here in North Lawndale. So again, kudos to the team, kudos to the folks that are working to put together development in North Lawndale. And you're right, Brenda's thing on last Thursday was a fantastic event, and I think one that's inspiring to us all. As for the other projects, I'm with Brenda. I wish mine had been selected as well, but I think the way that we look at it here in North Lawndale is development in North Lawndale is good for all of North Lawndale.
Yeah,
so we'll just
right.
keep pushing and keep doing what we can to develop the entire community. So again, thank you
That's
everybody
right.
for working on that.
Thanks, Rodney.
Sure.
And if I may, Brian, I have failed to do this at other meetings, and I don't want to do it this time. I want to make sure that we introduce Dion Bowe from Main Street. There's a plethora of resources that they offer. And I think Brenda, Deborah, Rodney, all of us in North Lawndale, James, we will all benefit from this. So I'm going to have Dion come out and do a presentation to us about the resources that are available to us as corridor managers, New Covenant in LCCC. So I just wanted to put that out there. A lot of resources, Brenda. You will
Sounds
greatly
good.
appreciate it.
I'll be there.
Free resources.
Very important word.
Yes.
That's right. Love it.
And this is Deborah. I'm hoping that we can get the plans are moving forward really, and I'm very encouraged about the children's Lawndale Children's Discovery Center and the grocery stores. I really would love for you guys to kind of learn, hear about the vision and where things are, because it is definitely moving forward for sure.
Yeah, Deborah, I think we've got you queued up for a presentation, or at least just some time on the agenda for next month, I believe.
I don't know. I had asked Jesse if he could work on that, but you know, I didn't know.
Yeah, you're
The only person on here that knows what she's doing is Brenda and Rodney. She's throwing, they know her so well.
I felt the dig, brother. I felt the dig.
Yeah, you hear it. Yeah.
She's so good. She's good.
I've been asking, you know, very kindly and everything. I'm just trying to help the community. What can I say? Whatever it takes.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I think, oh, you know, actually our September roundtable, we've got
That's okay. We're okay. We're pushed aside. Maybe for October. October's my birthday. Maybe that'll be the birthday present.
She was gonna work that in.
Deborah, you need more than that for your birthday. Oh no, we gotta do better than that.
Yeah.
We'll definitely work you in, Brenda. I'm sorry, Deborah.
Yeah, I'm Deborah. This Brenda's the one that had the successful grand opening. I'm the one that's we have one coming up.
I'm looking at Brenda.
Come on now,
I'm on the
family.
list now, Jesse. I'm on the list with you now.
Come on, family. Come on, family.
I'm sorry, I apologize, Deborah. But yes, we will definitely work that in to an upcoming meeting. And yeah, I think everybody would love to hear some more about that. And yeah, we need to be acknowledging that it's not just the city, to your previous point, Rodney, too. It's not just the city that's, you know, working to, you know, improve North Lawndale and really, you know, put it on the map in a way that it, you know, it hasn't been in, you know, recent years. So it's a lot of excellent stuff going on with, you know, community leaders that we want to highlight as well. So yeah, we'd love to hear about that. And then I should also mention too, that we will be holding another meeting for the Altenheim planning study. So we'll be getting word out about that. We don't have a date nailed down yet, but it will be this fall at some time. And then we do look to be announcing the selection for the Roosevelt Costner RFP ideally in mid-September, but we don't have an announcement event on the calendar as of right now, but we're very close. So I know everyone wants to know what's going on with that.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Anything else that anyone wants to throw out there? Anything else going on in the community, other announcements that you know, we should be aware of, or upcoming events? But if not, then we can wrap it up. And
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll be talking again soon, and we'll get information out about that developer meet and greet too. So thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Talk to you next
Thank
week.
you. Take care, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.